Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. I'm playing Legacy today, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Jeremy, we are going all the way back in time, and then freezing time, in 1993. This is Stasis. This is a card that was in the original Magic the Gathering set, and it is infamous for a variety of reasons. First of which is the art. What's going on there? We got like a fox with a blindfold and a basketball, kneeling on a balance beam with a clown who's painting the night sky. Unclear. I don't know. But it's awesome. It's been talked about for the last 28 years. That's just an exciting thing from the early days of Magic. Who knows what's going on there? As far as the card itself, 1 and a blue. Enchantment. Players skip their untap steps. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Stasis unless you pay blue. So the printed functionality of this card is it just sort of temporarily freezes everything. Like this card comes in, you pay a blue each turn, but that blue source won't untap on the following turn, and eventually you run out of blue sources, and then the stasis dies, and then everyone gets to play Magic again. At least that's the printed ideal for the card, I suppose. The reason Stasis is back on the radar right now is Teferi, who slows the sunset from the brand new Innistrad Midnight Hunt set. Teferi is a planeswalker whose +1 ability is choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanents you control, tap the permanents you don't control, and then gain 2 life. So, what that does is, under Stasis, you get to untap a blue source, which lets you keep your stasis for an extra turn. You get to untap an artifact, which lets you actually pull a headhunt mana under stasis. And given enough time, you net 1 mana per turn, 2 if you're making your land drop still, and eventually you'll be able to do something like cast As Foretold, or over 6 turns, wish for Kahira the Orphan Guard out of your sideboard, cast it, and then start attacking with it. Conveniently has vigilance, by the way, so it doesn't care about stasis. And if your opponents have stuff untapped when you go for your stasis, Teferi can tap it too, because it untaps your stuff or taps your opponent's stuff. Ral Zarek used to be used in this slot, because Ral Zarek has a plus that untaps things, but Teferi is just much better at that, because it untaps multiple things, lets you actually pull ahead instead of just treading water on the stasis. And then, once the game is completely locked down, As Foretold can cast Court of Cunning, and you can mill your opponent out, or you can wish for Kahira from your sideboard and attack with it a bunch of times. It's going to be slow, it's going to be ugly. I'm hoping opponents concede before I have to play out all of this, but this is the deck. Basically everything in the deck is a counterspell, a draw spell, or a removal spell. We're just trying to work towards Teferi plus Stasis, and keeping the board clear on our way to do that. Extra Solitudes in the sideboard, Ancestral Vision combos with As Foretold. You get to draw 3 cards right away because it costs 0. You don't have to wait for As Foretold to tick up. You can also just suspend it and get those cards later. This is not a deck that locks opponents out on turn 3. Like, it's not like Standstill where you're going to jam your turn 2 Standstill and just hide behind it. You really do have to sculpt a board state where Stasis makes sense. You have to be able to pay for it on the first turn. You have to already be ahead. The board has to already be stable. So there's a lot going on with the card Stasis. You could, I guess, just jam it and freeze up attacking creatures. Like if your opponent has Ragavan and Delver Secrets, you could just cast Stasis and use it as a fog for a turn. But remember, if you're not going off with Stasis, it's going to get sacrificed on your upkeep, which is after your untap step. So your opponent will get the first untap and the first chance to use all their mana. So you really want to be ahead when you go for the Stasis. One last thing I want to point out, Teferi's ultimate ability is you get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and draw a card during each opponent's draw step. That looks like it's perfect on the surface, but Stasis says players skip their untap steps. It doesn't say permanents don't untap during untap steps. Like the whole step is skipped. So your opponent won't have an untap step for Teferi to recognize and untap your permanents. So it's not a built-in win condition. We are just using the +1, and the -7 is mostly flavor text. But that's the deck. Let's go see if we can have any fun at all. Fun will be zero-sum in this league. Either we suck it all out of our opponent and keep it for ourselves, or we just run over and our thing doesn't happen. And I hope I can make it happen at least a few times in this league. Let's go check it out. It's Stasis time. It's game 1, and I'm on the draw. I have this Ancestral and As Foretold, which are both pretty good. No white mana sucks, but I'm going to keep this hand. Let's try it. Oh, is this a mirror? Nope. Uh-oh. Any deck with Ornithopter in it's probably bad news for me. It's got to be ninjas, right? I'm going to go for Ponder, because I really want to get my white mana set up. Okay, dope. That worked out well. I'm going to put the Plains on top and Force of Will in my hand now. Not that that helps if they ninjutsu a threat into play. We'll probably end up taking a hit from a Yuriko here. Yep, there it is. Yuriko has arrived. Revealing Ingenious Infiltrator. Do I Force of Will and Ornithopter? Is that the life I'm living right now? I think it is. It's rough. I'm going to pitch one of the Teferis. That's the worst card in my hand and the most redundant card right now. Alright. Yeah, we're in the Stone Age. This was a case of white mana on turn 1 versus not. I guess they could have dazed the Plow anyway. Now I guess, do I suspend my Ancestral Vision, or do I count on As Foretold to resolve and then just jam it immediately next turn? Because if getting 3 cards next turn is a lot better than getting 3 cards many turns from now and having mana, I think I'm just going to hold where I am. And I'm going to Plow Yuriko in their upkeep. Getting rid of her is pretty important. She's the one that does extra damage while also picking up extra cards. And the ninjas stack on top of each other. Like Yuriko triggers off each ninja that connects, and so does Ingenious Infiltrator. So really managing the number of ninjas in play is important. Can my As Foretold resolve, please? Are we in there? We're in there. Ancestral Vision, target me. Oh yeah, let's do it. Alright, we're behind for sure, but things are starting to occur. Let's see if they have another ninja to bury me with. The Ornithopter's sideways. It's just another Infiltrator, so they're only drawing 4 instead of drawing 4 and dealing me X damage. LOL at only drawing 4, by the way. Stasis could stabilize this. Like, they are tapped pretty low. I have a lot of lands and As Foretold available. Gotta imagine that there's a counterspell in their 7-card hand, but I have one as well. Okay. I'm gonna cast Brainstorm using As Foretold. Yikes. Okay. Life just got worse. I'm gonna put back 2 of these fetch lands. And of course I have basic plains, so my Mystic Sanctuary can't even get back Swords to Plowshares right now. They're gonna draw another 4 cards next turn. At least. I guess I should put Kahira in hand. I'm not doing anything else with this mana. Yeah, I think this was just a play-draw game. Oh, right, I'm dead on board. They can do that too. Okay. Yeah, I think this was a play-draw game. Like, if I have the Plow on turn 2 around their days and just remove the first Ornithopter, nothing happens. But obviously that's not what happened. Okay, Solitude's coming in. I like creature removal. All their stuff is blue that I care about. Flusterstorm doesn't really matter. Cage doesn't matter. Rest in Peace doesn't matter. I don't think I can trust Court of Cunning against the deck with an unblockable 1/1 in it. I'll just have to win with Kahira if I sign up for that. It's just pretty funny. It's a life I'm willing to live. The tricky part here is figuring out what I'm going to cut 5 more cards for. Alright, Solitude's coming in. That's actually a win condition. Maybe Prismatic Ending is worse than Pyroblast, but Pyroblast also punches my Stasis and Teferi through. Maybe it's one of the Chrome Moxen. This isn't a matchup where you can really afford to spew cards for short-term advantage. Eventually you need a Chrome Mox to win with Teferi, but you don't really want to draw 2 in a game, so I'm okay with that. I actually think Stasis and Force of Will are shaveable as well. Like, you need a Stasis eventually, but it's pretty bad short-term. Though, if I guess last game, if I drew a Stasis and resolved it with the As Foretold chugging and 6 lands in my hand, I would have eventually won that game. Alright, maybe I do want all my Stasis. Maybe I have to make cuts somewhere. Maybe Prismatic Ending is worse than Pyroblast, because Pyroblast hits all the ninjas and also protects my spells that I want to resolve. Prismatic Ending can only exile enablers, because I literally don't have 4 colors in the deck for Ingenious Infiltrator, and I would need my Splash Walk in play to get a Yuriko, and all of that is at sorcery speed anyway. Okay, but I do need to maintain a white count for Solitude. This board plan might be kind of a mess, but I think it mostly makes sense. On the play, revealing my companion. Okay, this hand is not keepable in this matchup. Like we saw last game, it's really important to clip the enabler. This is a good one. I'm gonna put probably one of the lands on the bottom. I think Misty Rainforest. Though, if I bottom Misty Rainforest, I have to choose between white or red with my remaining stuff. Ninjas doesn't usually play Wasteland, so I'm gonna keep the 2 fetch lands. Opponent's also on 6. Lands in play. But the texture of this hand has to kind of play to the ninja rather than play to the enabler. If I draw a Plow or Prismatic Ending, I'm gonna hit the Ornithopter, but if I don't, okay. Oh, this is actually interesting. Like, maybe I'm supposed to hit Retrofit or Foundry while the coast is clear, and I can Pyroblast the other thing, or the ninja. Or maybe I just make my land drop and pass, because if they go for a ninja, I can Pyroblast it with protection from Daze, and that would use all their mana. Oh, right, they could just make this a 4/4 also. I am gonna hit the Retrofit or Foundry right now. If they want to make a 4/4, that means they can't pick it up to ninja it, because then they lose their token forever. And I would rather play against that. Just like know what my clock is against a 4/4 than always be wondering about a ninja jumping in. Did I Pyroblast this? I don't think so. Like, my deck has 4 Plows, 2 other Prismatic Endings, and the 4 Solitudes in it right now that can all handle Construct token. I get 4 turns on this clock. They did not shuffle either of those Ponders, by the way. Alright, Stasis is here. Battle Cruiser operational. Just need to hit some land drops along the way. Okay, so I think I want to Prismatic Ending the Construct. I don't think I'm ready for Stasis. I need this Teferi in play, which needs another land, like, way before Stasis becomes relevant. I definitely need the land. I could just put Pyroblast away and count on Brainstorm being a better card, but Pyroblast is already providing the protection that I might be looking for with the Brainstorm. I'm going to put back one of the Brainstorms, and I'm going to fetch for the other Tundra in the deck. There are exactly 2. That's both Tundras. Let's end this token. Pressure's off at the moment. I really hope they cast Force of Will. That'd be great. Wow, got him. If they pitched Daze to do that. Let's hope they didn't have 2 Dazes. Our target spell if it's blue. Okay, they have 2 cards left over there. Let's hope it's not Ornithopter Yuriko. Brainstorm. They have the fetch land with their Brainstorm, 1 card left, and they have the Ornithopter. So if they have a Yuriko over there, they could do stuff. The Stasis is here. Is that good for me? I think I need to Brainstorm. I wish I had an extra mana to put Kahira in my hand before I Brainstorm, because that's just an extra card that I can cash in off of the Brainstorm. Okay, time to Brainstorm. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to put Stasis Caracas on top, or Stasis Mystic Sanctuary. That'll deny me an extra turn of Stasising. Okay, time to figure this out. I can end the Ornithopter now, which means I don't need Caracas up for the Yuriko right away. So I think I want to put Mystic Sanctuary under Stasis, get Teferi into play, and then stick Stasis on the following turn. And I still have Caracas in play if their last card in hand is Yuriko. Land go out of them. I could spend a turn playing around Daze, or I could just shove Teferi onto this deck right now. I think I want to get Teferi in. I don't think they would have kept Daze, and they've done a lot of cantripping. They might have Force of Negation. Okay. I'm going to anticipate. Look at the top 3 cards, because the tapping, untapping mode doesn't matter right now. Is Mystic Sanctuary better than Chrome Mox? Probably. Because that can get Prismatic Ending. So Chrome Mox will pay out better eventually. Alright, I'm going to take the Chrome Mox. I can put Kahira in hand, exile it to Chrome Mox, resolve Stasis, and have the 2 things. Have both targets available. The Teferi does also generate mana just on the board. I can go 1, 2, 3, get Kahira, plus I'm gonna untap Caracas, gain 2 life. No reason to cast Stasis right now because they don't have any tapped permanents in play. Brazen B, that's gonna get the Plow. They only had 1 card in hand, so you actually play around Force of Negation better by playing it on my own turn than going to their turn, because then they would have their mana available. Alright. We're on the board. They still haven't seen Stasis. I imagine they might assume that it's there. I guess it depends on what level of nonsense they're on. Like, is Stasis something that's on the mind of the average Legacy player right now? I don't think... I'm going to cut another Force of Will for another Pyroblast. The Pyroblast was really nice that game, and Force of Will just doesn't line up against ninjas. Like, the whole ninjutsu mechanic doesn't care about Force of Will, so I'm going to be off that. Do I want to make room for the 4th Prismatic Ending and go down to 1 Force? I don't think so. I think I like these numbers where they are. My opening hand contains Caracas. I'm going to keep it. This hand is soft against Ingenious Infiltrator, but crushes Yuriko. There's the Changeling Outcast. Didn't know they old bordered that one. That's pretty hot. Okay, here's Caracas. Let's hope it's Yuriko they have, and not Infiltrator. Ooh, no land. Or at least no land worth playing. Okay, they definitely have Yuriko. You don't keep a hand that just goes in Changeling Outcast go. And they had the 2nd land. I would bet a significant amount of money that Yuriko's in their hand. Foundry. So they can turn this into a construct because it is a Thopter, because it's Changeling. I want to ponder this turn and Brainstorm next turn. I'm going to save these Ancestral Visions until I find the thing, as foretold. Probably going to take 4 here. Yep, they're just cashing in. Yuriko's not coming to save you. They have a Brainstorm. That's a pretty good card. I have Solitude on top of my deck. I could wish for Kahira, exile Kahira to Solitude. That is a thing I can do if it's feeling urgent. They probably just Brainstormed away the Yuriko. Right, that's another construct. Things are starting to happen fast here. And a Ponder. Okay, so they can attack me. I'm actually on a 2-turn clock here. I get to draw. They crunch me to 7. I draw again. So Brainstorm's got to do some work here. They did not shuffle their ponder. I know my next card down is a land that I don't want, but brainstorming before I shuffle is still going to be better, I think. Okay. Put back Flooded Strand and Basic Plains. I can brainstorm again now. I could suspend Ancestral Vision. Brainstorming now is kind of rough. I'm going to suspend Ancestral Vision right now. If the game ends up going that long, which is a big if at this point, I'm going to need that reload. My life total is going to be low. They can attack me to 6 here. I can still fetch and not be dead. I am just 2 turns away from casting Solitude, just arriving is a thing. Oh, I'm actually dead to the servo. Never mind. If I fetch, I am dead to servo even with Solitude. So I need to find multiple removal spells here. Force of Will. I boarded 2 of you out. Here you are. Time to brainstorm. I need 2 white spells out of this. Currently 0 white spells out of that. Time to fetch. I'm going to get my Volcanic Island. I'm going to need it eventually. Ponder. Come on deck. Shuffle this Ponder. Brainstorm's got to save me here. It needs to find Swords to Plowshares and a white card to pitch to Solitude, basically. Alright, it did both of those things. Thank you. Put Brainstorm on... I have already made my land drop. So I'm going to put Ancestral Vision. I probably want to pitch Ancestral Vision to Force, assuming they have some amount of protection over there. I want to put Force underneath and Brainstorm on top of it. I can draw Brainstorm next turn. We're going to make a servo. I can Solitude now, which that plays around days. Alright, so I'm going to cast Solitude by exiling Teferi. They can't force a negation this either way. So they have Force of Will. So do I. Pitching Ancestral Vision, like we drew it up. They have 2 cards left in their hand. If one of them is Daze, we lose. That's gone. Now this is tricky. If I jam this Plow, we lose to Daze. If I jam this Plow, we might also lose to Yuriko. But it's not getting better, so I'm just going to Plow now, show them what I got. Okay. And F6. The Caracas is currently down. I'm sure they shuffled away their Yuriko, but alright, so they can quickly transition into... They can pay 1 to turn this into a Thopter, and then 0 to turn it into a Construct. So I am, again, dead on board. Brainstorm, let's go. Alright, and now I'm dead. Yep, just beat up by Retrofitter Foundry. Maybe I can trick them into not going for it. Just leave up some white mana. Doesn't look like they're falling for it. Nope, dead. Alright, GG's. I think we win this match if we win the die roll, but that's Magic. White mana in game 1, being on the play game 1, like all of those things would have... Like, this was close. I'm not, like, tilting off. I'm just... this was a very close matchup. We kept ninjas out of play. They beat us completely on the back of Retrofitter Foundry. Not a single ninja arrived in game 3, so we did at least check that part of their plan. They just had the double Foundry to execute the other half. GG's. I'm on the draw in the second round. I'm going to keep my hand. I have Force of Will for interaction and As Foretold, which is one of the engine cards. Really having As Foretold and Teferi gives me a lot of motivation to try to make a hand work. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Okay, drawing Plow makes me want to play the Flooded Strand in case I need to do that. I'm not sure what I would need to Plow out of a deck that started off Snow Island. I'm getting show and tell vibes. Like, not that they've done anything that specifically makes me think that's what they're doing, but I am getting that energy. Can't explain it. Intuition. So they drew all of the Ponder cards. They Ponder, didn't shuffle, drew for Ponder, drew for turn, then drew for turn. That Ponder was like, they didn't even cast it. Which is terrifying, by the way. Oh dear. No land drop after all that. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step here. Alright, I hit my land drops forever now. I am Gonna put the basic planes in the deck. I'm gonna draw the basic island and play it. I could tap out for As Foretold right now. I don't know. I feel like I can wait a turn and just play around Daze. I could put Kahira in hand, but then I'd have to go to discard, so no, I'm not going to do that. I'd like more information about their deck before I start committing to any particular lines. Okay, confirmed. Unfair deck. Well, we know they have 6 spells in their hand, so that's fun. I'm going to force pitching one of my Teferis. It might be able to beat a monster that comes into play with Stasis. Like, it could happen, I guess. Probably not. I'll give it a chance. Flusterstorm. Oh, Jesus. 4 spells I'm going to cast this turn already. Nice Lotus Petal. Alright. That's a good Flusterstorm. I'm not going to pay. I am going to fetch a white source, though. And these are all countered. What am I putting in off Show and Tell? Probably As Foretold. That sets up the Stasis the best. So I put in As Foretold. Oh shit, they had Omniscience. Okay. No chance here. I've also given away my entire plan with the pitching Teferi to Force of Will, putting in As Foretold. If they don't know this is a Stasis deck at this point, it's because they don't know what Stasis is. Okay, I'm dead. So do we think they drew that Ancient Tomb off the top, or do we think that they had it and didn't want to get wastelanded and wanted to have a really more explosive turn 3? That seems pretty likely, actually. Okay. Pyroblast and Flusterstorm obviously coming in here. Prismatic Ending sucks. Swords to Plowshares sucks. This is just not how you beat Show and Tell. If the Grizzlebrand's in play, you've lost. So I'm not really in on Show and Tell here. I think I'd rather have Prismatic Ending in the deck than Show and Tell. So maybe, I don't know, is it close? Is this even a conversation to be having? Like, Prismatic Ending can hit Defense Grid or a Lotus Petal if they hang it out early. I think I'm just going to be more likely to find a target with Prismatic Ending. My win conditions at this point are Kahira and Court of Cunning, so it's lock them out is the plan. Alright, let's go. Going first, revealing my companion. His hand is pretty slow. Does that mean it's bad? Probably. Gonna mulligan it. Alright, this one can ponder. I'm gonna keep this and bottom one of the chrome boxes. Gonna bottom the ugly one. I guess I should fetch my Volcanic Island just to make sure I have access to it. Ponder, Flusterstorm, Stasis. Okay, so I'm gonna put Flusterstorm on top of my deck. And then I'm gonna Chrome Box exiling Stasis. They have another one coming. You never need 2 of that card. Just want to make sure I don't die. I'm gonna need this Ponder to find more land drops, but I have the Stasis and the Teferi set up and some protection. That is the way. Did not shuffle. I'm gonna Ponder off of my blue source. Please show me more lands. Okay. I get to go land Stasis over the next several turns. Draw here. I could also Ponder just for velocity right now, but I know that my next 2 cards are cards I want, so I'm just going to hang back. We've seen Flusterstorm out of them, so having up a little bit of extra mana seems like it's reasonable to do. Oh, or they just have Beseiju, and I'm dead. Do I Fluster this Ponder now that they have Beseiju? No, I think I should use Flusterstorm to protect. Can I just Stasis? I don't think so. Yeah, this actually is looking pretty rough. Fucking Beseiju. Okay, and I can't even jam Teferi because my Stasis is under that. Yikes. This just got bad. I'm gonna Ponder. Pyroblast As Foretold. If they cast Show and Tell, I can... What can I do? Is there anything I can do? Like, I'm gonna need this Stasis. If they have Show and Tell in their hand, it's gonna resolve. Can I beat Omniscience somehow? Like, if they put in Omniscience, I Pyroblast the Omniscience, they counter that, I Fluster their counter. Can I get them out of cards that way? Probably not. And unfortunately, I have nothing to put in off of the Show and Tell. Maybe I just have to play like they don't have it. Like, they kept their hand on the strength of Beseiju, and they just don't have the follow-up. Okay. I'm gonna draw here. Play this. Stasis is on top of the deck. This is obviously terrible. Like, if they just have show and tell through Boseiju, we lose. They're fetching. Yep, here comes the spell. It resolves. But you knew that already. Yep, alright. We lost to Boseiju. That's fine. That was tough sideboard tech. It was exactly what they needed. We were pretty well set up not to lose to Flusterstorm if we were able to fight over it, but obviously that's not what happened. We can see how that one would go our way, but once again, just a little bit short. Alright, next round's coming.
We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the play in the third round. I'm going to keep this hand. It has As Foretold in it. Sign me up. Every removal and Brainstorm as well. Like, this one is pretty robust for what we can expect out of this deck. I'm going to lead on my Flooded Strand. Or do I want to lead on... I think I want to lead on Basic Island, actually. That way, if I have to emergency Brainstorm for Force of Will, I still have my fetch land available. This also plays around Wasteland. I don't think I want to lead on Caracas, not without seeing what the deck is. Oh, baby. They're up to something. Is this Turbo Depths in the year 2021? Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. That resolves. So they're like a Helm deck, probably, like 2-card Monty. Mystic Sanctuary just got worse, but that's okay. I could Prismatic Ending Rest in Peace, but I don't think that I care. I'm going to Brainstorm and then leave up the option to also Ponder. Mystic Sanctuary is going away. That card is no longer a functional Magic card. I'm going to put back the basic planes. And I have white mana off the Caracas. I'm going to respect the possibility of my opponent being a Wasteland deck. And just keep getting basics. Stasis Tundra. Is that anything that I want? I think this is fine. The first Stasis is an easy pitch to Force of Will. And then I can put As Foretold into play, get that chug in. Then I draw the second Stasis. I have Brainstorm that can be cast off As Foretold. Or I could just wish for Kihira. Opponent's got 3 cards in their hand. What could they be that I care about? Him to Turok. I actually do think that's worth forcing. They get 2 cards out of my hand either way, but I do kind of care about As Foretold specifically. It was going to be a 2-for-1 regardless, so I just took control of the situation. I'm going to play Tundra over Caracas here. As Foretold, get to work. Now the coast is clear. If they have, like, Dark Ritual, Land, Helm, they do get to deck me. Uh-oh. Karn. Okay, so the Karn can wish for Helm. Or worse, I don't know. Like, Liquid Metal Coating might just be better than Helm here, unless they're really committed to their grind. They did get Helm. So I probably want a Prismatic Ending Rest in Peace at this point. Ooh, I did draw the Stasis. I knew that was there. So I could Brainstorm Stasis, and then they're never casting this Helm. Yeah, I think I want to Brainstorm off of the As Foretold. See what happens there. If I find a Teferi, hey, I found a Teferi. Okay, put back 2 lands, and then think about math. So I pass. As Foretold goes to 2. I'm at 1 mana. I draw lands over the next 2 turns. Yeah, As Foretold will be at 4 before any of this stuff comes back to hurt me. So here's Stasis. Karn versus Stasis, dual decks. It's important to use the white source where you can, because Stasis is very blue hungry later, but you can cast it off colorless, obviously. Karn plus nothing. We don't get to it. Untap. I'm going to tap the Tundra just in case they have Wasteland. I want to make sure I'm staying ahead of this. I doubt this is a Wasteland deck. It seems really mana hungry. They have like Thoughtseize. That could actually win the game for them, because then I lose my Teferi. Just going to hope they don't have it. That's all I can do. Oh no. They just wish for Sorcerer's Spyglass. That could actually beat me. I need them to brick on
their Spyglass, or brick on the land for Spyglass for a turn. Maybe I should have paid the basic island that turn in case I need to emergency Prismatic Ending next turn. I might have blown that. Please don't draw a land. Don't draw a land, don't draw a land, don't draw a land. It 100% should have tapped island, because if they do go land Spyglass here, shit. Now I just lose. Fuck. I could have just let the Stasis die, exile, rest in peace, so I'm not dead on board. But I guess I'm still dead to... No, I'm not dead to Lattice, because... Yeah, I am still dead to Lattice. That was still bad, though. Well, there's that. Now I have to hope As Foretold pays me out over the next several turns. We're still in Stasis, so, like, the game isn't over quite yet. Still got spells I can draw. That's not one of them. Cast Teferi off of As Foretold. At least get him into play. A Mystic Sanctuary. I'm 1 mana short of wishing for Kahira, who I could cast and at least attack the Karn. Bummer. We were so close. They played smart, though. Going for that Spyglass is a really good idea. Alright, and Spyglass gets to attack Teferi, if it even cares. So if they're over there animating their Spyglass, that could open a window where I can draw Swords to Plowshares and kill it. Wow, please draw Swords to Plowshares. Let's make that happen. I'm going to continue paying for Stasis. Swords to Plowshares off the top. Let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Once each turn. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Please continue to fuck up. Wait, why is this still a creature? Oh, what? I don't understand. Until your next turn, does Moto check during the untap step? Weird. Guess I'm gonna exile it. I don't know. I guess I just have to, like... I don't know, it's unclear what's happening right now. I'm gonna make the play that I have, though. Woof. Alright, pay for Stasis. Yeah, I guess in real life, the Spyglass wouldn't have untapped, so it wouldn't have been a creature again. Yeah, that line doesn't work if Moto doesn't break. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to untap one of my lands, continue playing around Wasteland, but now I'm at least a Chrome Mox away from going nutso here. Ooh, they found an Ancient Tomb. That could do something. I hope they don't have another Spyglass. Oh, just plus Karn on nothing again. And they could just build up to 5 mana, and... Oh, no, they can't, because Teferi... I would have to draw another land before Teferi can tap their land. As Foretold is, like, in the stratosphere, though. Continue untapping my land until As Foretold draws a spell. Prismatic Ending, awkwardly, not a combo with As Foretold. Oh, I can't even get Chrome Mox because they have Karn in play. What is my plan this game? Like, can I actually win? Oh, I guess I just make land drops naturally, right? And I can just be careful about staying ahead on clock. I guess that's pretty important. Untap a thing, pass a turn. Like watching paint dry. But now I have Force of Will up, so at some point, even if they do build up to the mana necessary to stick their Helm, I can just counter it, and then their mana's gone forever. I'll draw the Court of Cunning to win at some point. It's in my deck. Okay, hitting a land drop is nice. I'm actually up 1 mana now. They're at the point where they're going to be discarding to hand size. As Foretold's going for the world record here. I wonder what the world record on As Foretold is. It probably happened in an EDH game, where the game just went 65 turns. Another one. Cast As Foretold with As Foretold. Someday I'll have spells. Resolving Teferi on Moto is a little weird, because land is the third thing. It's like, choose an artifact, creature, and land. So you have to decline twice before it gives you the gives you the chance to get to choose a land. And I'm really stressed out about it every time. Dark Ritual. Okay, they're going for it. Please don't have Thoughtseize. Cast with As Foretold. Boop. Alright. We're on the board with a win. Though that might have been completely fueled by a Moto bug. Solitude. Is Solitude something I want in this matchup? Doesn't seem like it. Like, if Lattice comes into play, Lattice turns all the cards colorless, so you can't pitch to Solitude anymore, so this is not, like, a way to exile their Lattice if they choose to attack with it. I don't know. I mean, they definitely lost that game because they animated their thing, but at the same time, maybe it shouldn't have been animated at the time that I killed it. I hope they file for compensation. I don't think my sideboard changes here. I guess we did see Dark Ritual and Hymn to Turok, which Flusterstorm is pretty strong against. Flusterstorm sucks against a lot of what they're doing, but I do like it in that spot. Maybe I can go one fewer Chrome Mox against the Karn deck. Like, that's a problem. Karn turning off my Chrome Moxen sucks. Enforcer Will's a complete banger. Swords to Plowshares is probably worse than I want it to be here. This composition is kind of a mess because, like, Plow doesn't line up against like 90+% of what they're doing, and Flusterstorm doesn't line up against 90+% of what they're doing, but the things that those do hit will be very important. Weird stuff going on there. This hand seems pretty reasonable. Prismatic Ending looks like a good one. Ancestral Vision, I expect this game will go long enough for that thing to pop. Starting off with a Marsh Flats. Wonder if they also have like Opposition Agent and those prison-y elements. Is this a Trinisphere deck? Thoughtseize. What do you want with your Thoughtseize? I think the deck is pretty close to Ice Cold against Thoughtseize Surgical. Like, if they just remove my Teferis from the game, I basically have to draw my Court of Cunning and just keep it in play long enough to win. That's rough. That's certainly a situation. Stasis is also a situation. Pretty excited to see that to go along with the Teferi that's already in my hand. Gonna suspend Visions. In the previous round where I didn't suspend Visions, it was because I already had As Foretold in hand and like it was happening imminently. I don't think I can hold a turn 1 Visions on the hope of someday finding As Foretold. Alright, they're ripping me apart. Ooh, no land? Okay, they kept a double Thoughtseize 1-lander. Interesting. Lanes versus the Mystic Sanctuary. Like, getting Mystic Sanctuary online is something. I think I'm just gonna play Mystic Sanctuary tapped, actually. Because I don't have a line that right now. Like, I have 4 lands, but they don't cast Teferi on turn 4, unless I play the Sanctuary tapped right now. Alright, perfect. They had Rest in Peace anyway. Get it out of here. I feel pretty good about that play now. And they missed their land drop, and then the land they found on turn 3 was City of Traders. There could be something explosive that happens to me, but I'm mostly pretty happy with that. And I'm going to get rid of the Rest in Peace because it appears to be part of their, at least plan A win condition, and I don't want to get cheesed out by a Dark Ritual here. And what else am I doing with my mana? I could like put Kihira in hand. But right now my job is to just be alive by the time that Ancestral Vision pops off. Enlightened Tutor for Helm, sure. But I got rid of the Rip. Now I can just put Teferi into play. Ooh, is that better? I don't think so. But maybe it is. I don't know. I'm going to put Teferi into play. And draw a card off him. Do the minus mode. Down to Stasis. You're in trouble, opponent. Okay, I mean, if my Ancestral Vision's coming off next turn, if it finds a land, I can go As Foretold Stasis, untap a land, and get the hooks in. They're just sticking their Helm right now. The Leyline. Okay, so there's Leyline, and they're holding Helm. Alright. I think... Alright, I just need one of my top 4 cards to be a land right now, and then we're good. Here comes the Visions. Target myself, of course. Uh-oh, no land. Okay. Deck was teasing me for a second there. Fetch for Tundra. Cast As Foretold. Untap a land. Tap land, cast Stasis, and we're in there. Hooks. And I even have the court, so I think we're just done here. Hell yeah. Thoughtseize, dead anyway. Feeling good about that. On to the next round. I'm on the play with kind of a stinker.
Yeah, no blue source makes this unkeepable. Too bad, because as foretold, vision's it's all there. This is a mulligan though. I'll keep this one, though I don't like it. Bottom the volcanic island, there's no red cards in the main, other than the third color for prismatic ending. Guess I just hope they're a deck that cares about creatures. They did mull to 5, so it's either combo or we got pretty lucky. Alright, combo confirmed. Getting my thoughts seized, sure. Well, they know I'm a stasis deck. We are battling oops all spells. Whatever that is worth. Unfortunately, I don't think stasis is going to come up in this matchup. You're either going to win by countering all their spells, or we're not. Draw for turn. Drew Tundra. That sucks. I was thinking at the end of my turn, like, do I want to crack my fetch just to thin out one land from the deck because spells matter a lot here? And I was like, no, I think it won't matter. And then I drew the Tundra, which is the land I would have fetched. Funny. I need a brainstorm, like, bad. Okay, I can put Kahira in hand and start attacking. In tapping out of Swords to Plowshares means that I can't interact with like Narcomoebas. Like if there was like if they have like the wrong number of Narcomoebas in their hand, I might be able to exile one of them before they can dread return. But I think that that's not super likely to matter compared to getting a threat on the board. Okay. I put Kahira in my hand and they took it immediately. Come on, brainstorm. Force of Will. Oh no. Give me one more turn here. Let me have Force of Will in my hand when you go for it. Okay. Alright. They're passing. Stressful stuff. Okay. Now I can force twice. Cabal Therapy still beats me. But Thoughtseize doesn't. Still really use a brainstorm here. Oh my god. Chrome Mox. I'm gonna play that and exile the prismatic ending. This lets me hardcast Force and still plow. I'm not feeling good about Swords to Plowshares being an answer to what they're gonna try to do. It's just it's non-zero, thus I will take it. Uh-oh, they found a mana source. Might be what they were waiting for. Maybe not. Come on, deck. I think I'm at the point where I'm holding lands for when I draw Brainstorm. Lotus Petal, okay. And they're passing. For real, deck. Okay, I'm going to play a land at this point. There is a Mystic Sanctuary in my deck, I just don't have any spells right now. This is preposterous. This game has been so stupid. Okay, Teferi, what do you do? I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Untap, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can Teferi and cast Force of Will. I could also Teferi and minus. Oh, I should have thought of that first. Okay, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Wait. Why would I tap my Tundra when I have this shitty Chrome Mox over here? Here's Teferi. I think minusing Teferi makes more sense than plussing here, which I should have done before I played my land, because if this minus finds Brainstorm, I'm gonna feel kind of silly. It did find Brainstorm. It also found Stasis. Is it time to commit? No, I think I want Brainstorm. Okay, here's Brainstorm. Put Stasis in the deck. And do I need to Brainstorm now? What gain is there to brainstorming now? I could find like As Foretold and put it into play. I'm gonna shuffle because I actually want the Stasises back into the pool of cards I might draw. Alright, I found As Foretold, which is the thing I said. I need a backup Teferi for this matchup. Couldn't hurt, right? I could like minus the one next turn. I am gonna get Mystic Sanctuary and put Brainstorm back on top of the deck. Yes, and then As Foretold. Okay. They now know it's time to go. Ready or not. And I do have the Force of Will. Maybe I should have just kept double Force, double blue card, and held the As Foretold till next turn. Yeah, I think I just messed up. I got really excited about drawing the As Foretold. Yeah, I probably wanted Force blue card, Force blue card. So it's not entirely clear if they were just sculpting a perfect hand because I had no pressure, or if they had nothing going on. And I think them going to discard here is the smoking gun that they actually just have nothing going on. Okay, I'm going to plus Teferi Or do I just want to cash it in? Yeah, I think I want to cash it in. I have another one, but it's 4. Now I have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can play this one. Gonna dig again. Ancestral Vision in the hand, please. I have not as foretolded yet. Bang. And my land for turn. And I'm gonna hang on to this Ancestral Vision either as force fodder or as draw 3 next turn. Okay, I mean, it looks like we're kind of over the hump here. Dark Ritual, you got it. Your City Informer. No, no, no. I think pitching Teferi is probably better than pitching Brainstorm, but I think there's a good chance I'm going to need them both. Uh-oh. Do they have 2 packs? All right, we did it. The double force got us over the finish line. They were going to lose to their own pact on the following turn, so that was that. Wow. Definitely lucky. They kept to 5, thought seized me, and then just did nothing until turn 90 million. Flusterstorm comes in, Grafdigger's Cage, rest in peace. Solitude can blow up a bridge from below, which is kind of interesting. It might not be enough, but it is at least interesting. It's a 0 mana spell. What is bad in this matchup? I don't think we need Stasis, as funny as that is. Like, I think that we will win or lose this game without that. I do need to respect my white count for Solitude, but at the same time, Prismatic Ending sucks. And so does Plow. Without Stasis, as foretold is less important. Teferi is still a card advantage engine. Chrome Mox does help me turn 1 Rest in Peace, which is really important, or turn 1 Ponder into Grafdigger's Cage. Plow. Yeah. This is rough on the Solitudes. Maybe I don't need all 4 of those. Like 2 Solitudes, the Flusters. Like Flusterstorm doesn't always line up against this deck either, but it's interaction, and I'm gonna play it. As foretold, if it gets up to 5, it can cast Solitude, but I don't think that's a real plan. How good is Solitude? So the way that Solitude lines up against Oops All Spells is they succeed in their combo, and then they get their Narc Amoebas, and the Narc Amoebas get redundant value off of Bridge from Below. So Solitude exiles a Narc Amoeba and nukes the bridge when Solitude dies from Evoke, and it could take them off their ability to do it. Yeah, that just seems like it lines up in a way that I care about. I think I'm going to be just totally off As Foretold. Or 1 As Foretold, 2 Plows. No, I want the Plows, 4 white cards, or Solitude. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is survive their first wave, resolve Rest in Peace, and then they concede. And I don't actually need a win condition. On the draw with a double force Flusterstorm hand. Yeah, this is a keep against Oops All Spells. They mull to 6. Hope they don't have Cabal Therapy. I can beat a Thoughtseize, I can't beat a Therapy. Chrome Mox exiling, Cabal Ritual. Sure, Thoughtseize me. Maybe they'll concede after they see my hand. That would be great. They took one of the forces, which means that they don't have Cabal Therapy. And I have Flusterstorm that can protect me from... Oh shit, that's even more messed up. I think I just put Cage into play. Like, they can't win with that card in play. Yeah, forget about Flusterstorm. Go ahead. Here's Grafdigger's Cage. And they conceded to that. We got a turn 1 win with Stasis in Legacy. GG's. On to the next round. We're on the draw in the final round. After a rocky start, playing for a positive record now. And my hand can interact with a creature or a spell, and it has As Foretold, so I'm going to keep it. Dark Ritual, okay. Doomsday. I mean, I have to imagine that they have Daze, but I'm going to cast my spell. Okay, that resolved. That's cool. I'll take it. Well, we know what we're playing against. There is no mystery here. Stasis Chrome Mox. This is actually the whole thing just lined up here. So I'm going to put Stasis on the bottom, draw Volcanic Island, and then next turn I can Chrome Mox, pitching Prismatic Ending, cast As Foretold. The next turn Teferi comes into play, and then Stasis happens. Or I could wait until they Doomsday, and the Stasis will be
probably game ending. Unless they win all at once. I'm still gonna cast my As Foretold now. Prismatic Ending basically doesn't have text in this matchup. Force pitching Force. Worried about As Foretold. That's good. It was a distraction. I mean, it's important, but it was also a distraction. No land, so we know their hand's full of spells. Here's Teferi. Hope it doesn't get dazed, but Daze is gonna beat me at some point. I'm gonna get an extra card off Teferi. I don't think I need a backup Teferi. I'll take the backup land, because the land can be Force of Will off Mystic Sanctuary. Is probably one of the missing pieces here. Oh, they're Esper Doomsday. That's good to know. They cast Doomsday right now. If their last card in hand is Consider, then I lose. Oh, okay. All right, they are the full Esper Consider. Deep Analysis is in the Consider deck, but now I get to jam Stasis and the game ends. Okay, land, Stasis. Are we done, or do you have Force of Will? Those are the only two questions I have. Yeah, we're done. Teferi was actually going to untap too, because for the first time in the entire league, I have Artifact and land in play, so that was going to be the full Stasis situation. Awesome. Okay, playing against Doomsday, the 4 Flusterstorms, that's basically what this is for. Grafdigger's Cage actually plays against Doomsday now because the Consider for Deep Analysis is one of their piles. Pyroblast is important. Towards the Plowshares and Prismatic Ending, not important. Yeah, we're literally just trying to stay alive. That's the whole plan. And here are my cards. I don't think I want Rest in Peace. That's just like not really the most important. And I do have the Mystic Sanctuary, so it's not just like free to shove in. I don't even know if the Cage is worth the slot, but I've done it. Okay, here we go. Here's my deck. Well, I have the Cage. I'm going to keep this hand. I have Force and Cage, which is an interactive spell and a sideboard card. Cage doesn't like make it so they can't win. It just makes it so their most efficient pile doesn't work. They did not shuffle their Ponder. All right, there's Teferi. I got the combo. It's here. Gotta survive long enough to execute it. Did land go for their turn. Second Chrome Mox. Never really what you're looking for. Too bad Chrome Mox can't pitch Chrome Mox and tap for colorless. They thought of that when they designed that card. It's a real shame. If I have to Force Will something, I'm going to pitch Stasis, because Teferi is an engine by itself, and Stasis is just nothing by itself. Next turn, I can wish for Kahira and pitch it to a Chrome Mox. That could be a play worth making. Stasis is also pretty interesting against Doomsday specifically, because they make their pile assuming certain resources are available to them. And is Stasis a card that Doomsday players are prepared to make piles around? Like, there's the Ritual. They're about to Doomsday. Do I even fight it? Oh, that's awkward. They said an expletive in the chat and then passed the turn. Whoops. Don't know what happened there, but yikes. Okay, drawing Flusterstorm means I'm not going to make the Kahira line. If Kahira was a blue card, I would do that, but I'm not going to take a turn in which I'm not holding up Flusterstorm when I could be. Cavern of Souls is in the deck. This is where they've pivoted onto, like, some mirror entity deck. I'm just dead. Teferi. Guess I have to counter that. Pitching Stasis. They force me back. I fluster their Force. I mean, the way is still clear for Doomsday, but, like, their hand is running out of juice over there. You pitched a Force to their Force. Okay. How about a land? As Foretold. Are you good right here? Probably. Alright. I'm going to fetch for Tundra. Get my As Foretold into play. Could also make the Kahira line right now and develop my mana guarantee to Teferi next turn, but I think, like, As Foretold requires that investment to get going. The second Chrome Mox is just a nightmare here. Obviously it's important to the deck, but drawing two of them sucks so hard. Okay, back up to Teferi, sure. Oh, their shields are up. Good thing I spent all my counterspells last turn. That can also bounce Cage on the turn where it would matter. I mean, Stasis is nice, but I think this is the turn where I have to wish for Kahira, and I have to just hold my horses. Because if they bounce my Chrome Mox, that's just a giant strip mine. No thanks. I could definitely lose right now if their hand is Doomsday, Consider. All right. They're plussing Teferi again. They do not appear concerned about my as foretold. Here's Chrome Mox. I exile Kahira. I play Teferi. They have days, they can daze. Okay, they do not have days. Untap this artifact. No creature. This land. Play Stasis off as foretold. No, they're not. They don't have any things tapped, but they could end step Doomsday. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Stasis off as foretold. Alright, there's my line. And I'm passing the turn. If they do end step Doomsday, then all their stuff is tapped going into their turn. Perfect. Alright, glad I went for the Stasis. Does this matter? If they make a pile of like Island Consider, Deep Analysis, I don't know what their pile has to be, but they do get the extra draw of Teferi. They can clear the cage. The Stasis hopefully is going to hurt them enough to buy me time, but there's got to be a pile here that kills me. Doomsday has resolved. It's now their turn. Bouncing Cage, 3 cards left in their deck. LED. Okay, yeah, they just sacked this for blue, cast the Deep Analysis that's in their hand, or in the graveyard. They draw the Oracle, and then they win. Yeah, okay. Yep. Teferi's a really good card. Their Teferi, not my Teferi. My Teferi's just fine. All right, but the cage did matter. Like, they did have to come up with a way to beat that. Good to know. I spent a lot of turns that game doing nothing, and it was still like a 1-turn game at the end. Is Rest in Peace just better than Cage? So I guess it costs 2 mana to do what's mostly the same thing. Because if they can remove Cage, they can also remove Rip. Yeah, I think the same deck's just going back in. On the play, revealing my creature, my buddy. Force and Fluster, yep. Tundra Go is my plan. I was going to hold up this Fluster Storm. I can Ponder and continue holding up Fluster next turn. If they thought sees me, I'll Fluster it. Hopefully they don't. Alright, yeah, just Ponder. Do not shuffle. Lotus Petal. Interesting. I could Ponder now, or I could Ancestral Vision and invest in the long game. I think I want to Ancestral, actually. Yeah, let's just get that looming over the game. My hand is pretty good at not dying, but it's not great at winning. So Ancestral Vision is exactly the type of card you want in a situation like that. I hope they just jam their Doomsday here. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. Okay, I'm gonna Force, which gives me Flusterstorm. Like, that turns on Flusterstorm. Right now they... Oh, wait. No, Flusterstorm costs 3 right now. Right, I'm still gonna Force. Then they force me back. And if I cast Flusterstorm now, I can put 2 counters on their Force, 3 on their Doomsday, or I could just let this resolve like a normal person. I'm gonna get my Volcanic Island and Fluster the Doomsday. Fluster Doomsday a lot. Yeah, should have just Flustered that. I forgot Fluster also is like itself. Storm was already 2. I put Force Well on the stack for no reason, but it's okay. They forced Pitching Force. Personal Tutor. Alright, another Doomsday's coming. That's scary. So time to Ponder into an answer. Where was that Pyroblast last turn when they cast the Personal Tutor? They're going for a pretty thin Doomsday here. Like, if I can counter the Deep Analysis after Doomsday, we might have a game. Doomsday resolves. I can fetch now, clear the lands from the top of my hand. Next turn, I can fetch, get Flusterstorm back on top. But they will have a slow pile that gets them Cavern plus Oracle. So I need something. What What even fixes that situation? Is it stasis? Like I just have to stasis the game out until they run out of cards in their deck? Like hope they commit to the slow game and then have it fail? Yeah, this is rough. Bad situation right now. Definitely fetching in this end step. Got my other Tundra on spells. Ooh, you're right. I forgot that vision is looming. If they wait too long to go for it, where is vision? Is it? It's 2 turns away? God, that's a lot of turns. I'm not going to suspend this other visions. This game is not going to go that long, and it could be Force of Will fodder. Oh, I should have put Kahira in hand for sure, though. And fetch. I'm off the Flusterstorm. I'm actually going to get Ponder here. I just want improved card selection. I need to be able to specifically win this game somehow. I don't think Cage is going to be part of my plan. Really wish I wished for a Kahira last turn. I'm drawing all of these cards next turn. I'll take this, and I'll cast the Cage. Willing to believe this game came off the rails somewhere. The just like TikTok of they can just put Cavern of Souls into play. Okay, if they care about that, that's fun. No, I'm not going to sack a land to repeat that. Okay, that I have 2 answers to deep analysis. Oh, that was an aggressive end step thing where they didn't go for it. Now I can just cast the card again. Weird. Orum's Chant. Fuck. All right, yeah, that's pretty good. All right, you got me good on that one. All right, that's gone. All right, I can't cast spells, so I'll put Kahira in my hand. That was a good Orum's Chant. So they can just play the Oracle next turn. I can kill Oracle and play, though, which is a big deal. As for Told, do I have time for that? So I don't need Kahira, and I can just pick the Cage back up. So if I go land, As for Told, I can Ancestral Vision. Oh shit, almost hit suspend. Glad that cost mana. Nope, just draw the cards. Yeesh. Okay. And if they cast Oracle this turn, I can kill it. They don't have enough cards in their deck to deep analysis anymore. Right, now I lose. Yeah. This was just... I don't know where I messed up, or like if they just had the line. What happens if I Flusterstorm? I mean, I'm dead. I'm not going to waste my opponent's time here. But if I Flusterstorm the first Doomsday, then I have Force of Will Red Blast for their second Doomsday. Yeah, that's where I lost this game. Nope, where I lost this game is that Ancestral Visions can target a player. Oh my god. Yeah, if I just, instead of draw through, target them, that's the game. GG's. All right, well, live and learn. Vintage champion here who missed an Ancestral Recall kill. Yep, okay. The Flusterstorm would have changed the counterplay of that game, and then the just knowing how my cards work. Yeah, okay, I tunnel visioned. All right. Unfortunate. That would have been an exciting end to this exciting league. Fell short due to just the deck being kind of awkward in the first 2 matches. Fell short due to me missing an unintuitive line in the final turn of the final game. Got some cool matches in between. Getting the hooks in with Stasis was a lot of fun. It kind of feels like a Standstill deck that's working too hard. Like, Standstill is another 1 and a blue enchantment that can win the game, or at least like make the game weird and give you a significant advantage. But you don't need to play like an unwieldy 4-mana Planeswalker and Chrome Mox in your control deck to make that happen. Like, this is definitely a brew deck, not a particularly competitive one. But this was a lot of fun. Remember that Ancestral Vision can target both players, and you will do okay, I guess. That's a pretty big line against Doomsday. Wow, I wish that was in my head when I came to it. But all right.
that one's going to haunt my dreams for a couple days, but I'm going to try not to dwell on it right now. This was a lot of fun. I'm not sure about Solitude in the sideboard, but maybe just having more free interaction for the creature matchups is what the deck needs. We didn't play against any matchups like that, so it didn't really get to shine, but I can see where it would be good. This deck is never beating Delver as it's constructed in the main deck, so I feel it. Okay, that was Stasis with Teferi, who slows the sunset, and this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Jeremy, for asking me to play it, and I'll see you all next time. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.